Hi guys, Frugal BC, and just starting another one of these weekly Wausonian read-throughs. I'm going to try to be more consistent with these. I've been trying out a few things with the Wausonian, and some of them just haven't panned out. So this one's kind of interesting though. And so I tried Newsbreak. Some of you might have seen me trying to post some stories on Newsbreak. I find that audience pretty much stays on Newsbreak. They don't come over from there. So I'm not going to be doing that anymore, but I'm going to try to stay consistent with this read through. So let's go through the weekly Wausonian here, and we're just going to read through this section. I try not to offer too much commentary because that's a little bit difficult, but all right. Well, the lead story was on thin ice. So let's start with the good news. Marathon County's new mat-based refrigeration system seems to be working perfectly, and the county has ice at its two rinks right on schedule. The bad news: the future of the ice rinks is a little more murky. Parks Director Jamie Pauley presented the results of a feasibility study that shows several options for the ice arena going forward. They range from building a brand new facility, $54 million, all the way up to the county no longer operating an ice arena at all. And I gotta say, I'll just put a little commentary that I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think the user groups are going to allow that to happen. So Polly explained that having year-round ice would allow the county to bring in almost as much revenue as it is expending, up to 96%. Marathon County Administrator Lance Leonard explained that the county typically partners with user groups. So if you're in, we're in, Lance explained. I started to use Lance instead of Leonard. Oops. Detailing how the county put $3 million into the warm water therapy pool while advocates raised the remaining $3 million plus, and it was about a little more than $3 million, as I recall, to build a new facility. So some of you might remember the ongoing saga with the warm water therapy pool. It was in danger of being closed. It was in desperate need of. It was basically falling apart, and people were saying, "Well, we got to maintain this thing. It's really important for elderly people, for rehab." It also seemed to help people with the opioid who are struggling with opioid addiction, which is kind of a surprise to me, actually. But the county said, okay, we'll put in $3 million. You got to come up with the rest. And it seemed to sort of set a precedent now, because they're suggesting that might happen with the ice rink. But $54 million is a lot of money. Other options included building a new year-round sheet at the current facility, which is $34 million. Patching up the existing facility at $7 million, or the county simply exiting the ice business altogether with youth hockey, high school. And I said professional. I guess professional is like probably a poor choice of words, because the Cyclones aren't exactly a professional, but I think of it as like a professional organization, since they sell tickets, they have merchandise. It is what it is. Okay. Hockey teams using the facility. That the last option is unlikely given the strong hockey community the area has, one county supervisor expressed. So it's probably going to be one of these two. These middle two would be my guess, but we'll see what happens. And if you missed it, I had a story about how the middle is getting more expensive, dove into some data around like what mid-priced apartments mean, because this property at 11 Scott Street came up in the joint ED finance committee, and they said it was for the missing middle. And I was like, well, what does that mean? No one said, no one on the committee thought to ask, on either of the committees thought to ask, what does that actually mean? Like, what price range are we talking about? And so I dove into some data. I found out what the 11 Scott Street proposal is. Now they're looking for $950,000 of TIF funds. So that might be an interesting ask. We'll see how that goes. And then we found, we did our regular full court press feature. And yeah, I'm way behind on these. I'll have to do another one in the next couple of weeks to get caught back up. And I don't know if you guys remember the Stanley Poofall case, but Stanley was an investment advisor who is accused of basically taking client funds and spending them on his lifestyle instead of investing them like he's supposed to. That case is still going through the court system, but he was indicted. And it turns out there's a civil case around that. So if you want to read that, check that out on the Wausonian page, as both of those are for paid subscribers. Let's see, what else do we get? Disney announces PFAS settlement. Wausau has received $2.86 million in a settlement of a lawsuit the city joined against manufacturers of PFAS chemicals. That funding, added to an earlier payment, bringing the total to $2.92 million, will go toward paying back debt incurred by installing the city's PFAS filter. Mayor Doug Dinny said in a press release. That idea will go before the city's Waterworks Commission and the city council. Dinny said in a release. Bridge Street Mission meets fundraising goal. Outreach coordinator says the Bridge Street Mission has reached its funding goals to build a new shelter that will serve Wausa's homeless population, according to the city's outreach director. Tracy Durante told the Public Health and Safety Committee this week that Bridge Street reached its goals and that they would be talking time of opening the following day. Bridge Street Mission Director Greg Vincent confirmed that the fundraising goal being met to the Wausonian. I got an email from him and I asked him about the timing as well, and his email was very confusing and I had a lot of other stuff to do, so I didn't really get to follow up with him and I just kind of kept it at that. But it was kind of a strange email, I'll be honest. County memorializes former supervisors Grunenwald and Day. The Marathon County Board recognized 2 past supervisors who died recently. Ken Day died on September 16th at 78. Laverne Grunewald died on September 30th at 87. The board held a moment of silence for each. I didn't know Laverne, but I definitely know Ken, and I'm sure he will be missed by many. Sheriff's deputies disarm man with knife. Deputies from the Marathon County Sheriff's Office disarmed a man with a knife, but not before that man harmed himself with it. Deputies were called at 10:09 a.m. Wednesday to a residence and this was the October 15th, so not the previous, not the Wednesday that just happened, to a residence in the 186-200 block of Comet Road in the town of Franzen for a welfare check, officials say. Deputies encountered the man who then armed himself with a knife, police reports say. Deputies were able to de-escalate the situation, they say, but during the encounter, he harmed himself with the knife. Officials say deputies performed life-saving measures on the man before he was taken to the hospital, where he's being treated for life-threatening injuries. Because force was involved, officials say the Portage County Sheriff's Office will be investigating. County names new head attorney. County leaders announced the departure of Corporation Counsel Micah Prenner. A new lawyer has now been named in his place. Marathon County Administrator Lance Leonard named Brian Desmond to the Corporation Counsel role. Desmond practiced law for counties for 20 years, including most recently as Corporation Counsel in Sauk County. And by the way, Corporation Counsel, that's kind of like the lead attorney for the county. Deputies searching for a suspect in Rib Mountain robbery. Deputies are still looking for help identifying a suspect who robbed a convenience store in Rib Mountain in early October. Officials say a suspect entered Rib Mountain Liquor and Tobacco on around 8:30 p.m. October 5th and stole a bank bag full of cash. A store employee attempted to stop the suspect, was unsuccessful, and a glass case was smashed in the scuffle. More details of the suspect's appearance can be found at this link. I think we can go. I'm going to pull these up for you guys. Yeah, here's kind of what he looked like. Here's some of our sponsors: Downtown Grocery, The Garage, and also Granite View Marketplace. Just bought some beer there myself, so I enjoy that. And Westsider Diner, actually just ate there as well. Very good food. Sourdough and Company opening next month in the old Subway spot. Sourdough and Company, a chain based in Nevada. And I saw someone say California, but actually their main corporate office is Nevada, so I'm saying they're based in Nevada. It's slated to open next month in the former Subway location at the corner where Grand Avenue turns into 6th Street across from the courthouse. Of course, we also had our Wasum weekend guide, so you can check out things to do. Still got time to check out those Saturday and Sunday events if you're, depending on when you're watching this. In football, DC Everest had one more game to get through and route to a perfect conference season. Mission accomplished. The Evergreens defeated Eau Claire Memorial 43-7, earning the conference title with a 6-0 record. Wausau West finished third with a still solid record of 4-2. DC Everest will head to Brookfield East Friday in the first round of playoffs. Wausau West will take on Arrowhead at Arrowhead Stadium. DC Everest in volleyball, DC Everest defeated Wausau East in 3 games, and Wausau West lost a 4-game battle to Marshfield, leading to the Evergreens taking the number 3 spot in the conference to end the season. The Warriors finished 4th. So actually the Warriors had been ahead a lot of the season. They were in 3rd place, and DC Everest was in 3rd. And just at the last minute, they were able to snatch 3rd place from the Warriors. But it kind of doesn't matter. It's if you don't get the top conference spot, you all kind of go into the playoffs anyway. So anyway, the Evergreens will host Eau Claire North. I shouldn't say it doesn't matter, but it kind of all resets. You get some better seating and stuff like that, so it does matter. I shouldn't say that. The Evergreens will host Eau Claire North to start the playoffs Thursday, so that already happened. And the Warriors will head to Eau Claire Memorial. And then Wausau East was headed to Chippewa Falls. And then in boys soccer, the Evergreens managed to play the entire conference season without a loss, but they did have a couple of ties. The latest came against Spash, a 2-2 tie to finish out the conference season. That left DC Everest with the conference title and a perfect 8-0 record, I should mention. I don't think I put that in there. It was 8-0-2, I believe. And that's heading to the playoffs. Wausau East finished 4th and Wausau West finished 5th in the conference. The Evergreens already sent Wausau West packing 5-1 in the first round of the playoffs, and Wausau East defeated Menominee 2-0 in its first round in Division 2. So that is, of course, you can become a subscriber at www.thewausonian.com or wausonian.substack.com. Either one works. And you can be a free or a paid option. Paid gets you everything. You can see all the stuff we do. And we also do have group subscriptions if you'd like to check that out. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Like I said, I'm going to try to be more consistent with these. I think it's usually a matter of finding a spot to do it in that I can do consistently. So I think we'll we'll try to do more of these, because I think this has some potential, and I think this is kind of where things are going. So if you like these, let me know. Leave a comment and let me know what you like. Let me know what you don't like. Otherwise, I'm BC, and thanks for tuning in.